Imagine this, you find the perfect property in Barbados, you put in an offer, you're super excited, but then your offer is rejected. Now there's so many reasons an offer can be rejected, and I know how disheartening this can be, but in today's episode of Buy With My, I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks and things to know when putting in your offer. Of course, sellers are looking at the offer price, but they're also looking at the conditions that surround the offer. A well-structured offer can put you in a better position to having your offer accepted. So let's dive right into some of the details that will go into your offer and things for you to consider. So the first questions that you're going to be asked by an agent is if your offer is finance or cash. Now, firstly, cash is king. Cash, you have better negotiation power. Everybody prefers cash, especially if it's US cash. We'll talk about that in a bit. If you have a financed offer, you need to make sure that you're already pre-approved. The pre-approval process, especially in Barbados, is a bit tedious. It goes through, don't get me wrong, but it is a tedious process. So having that pre-approval in place is paramount. Secondly, having a good loan officer on your side who's going to make sure your application is put through as quickly as possible and gives you realistic timelines as to when the conditional approval will come through and when the final approval will come through and the disbursement. So those are two things when it comes to financed offers. Let's say you do have a financed offer in Barbados. You can choose to have the offer in either USD or Barbados currency. Some banks don't offer the USD currency, so it's only Barbados, but this is more beneficial for you, especially right now. The US currency will be tied to the US interest rates, which we all know are quite high, and in Barbados, the interest rates are much lower. So it's more beneficial. So if you have that offer, you're financing in Barbados dollars and you can get up to 65% from the bank in Barbados. That means you would have 35% balance for you to put down. You need to make sure that you have that cash on hand and ready and available to put down as soon as your offer is accepted, as soon as your valuation is completed for the financed offers. And then you can put down your 35% towards your deposit. So because you have the 35% down in cash, you can do a mixed offer, which means you can do a US 35% and then the balance in Barbados dollars. This is a strong position to be in because most of the vendors that we have are foreigners, which means that they would probably prefer to take the money out of the island. Some will be okay with the mixed offer because they might want to reinvest in the island, but the opportunity to have it in US dollars is so much more advantageous for a lot of them. So having that mixture is great. If you have a cash offer, on the other hand, with most of my buyers, they're 99% foreigners, so you would have that USD available, and again, that is much more preferential. But not everyone is in that position to do that, and we have to then look at the financing as mentioned previously. Earlier, I mentioned conditions. So offers can vary. Sometimes you may have a case where you have to sell your property back in Canada, UK, America, in order to get that cash, either for the finance or even fully cash to purchase a property in Barbados. So if that is the case, make sure you have your property already listed and it's been marketed heavily so that the owner knows that there is active interest and progression on the sale of your property back home. Better yet, if you can actually get that property sold or at least an offer on it, an agreed offer, a deposit in back in your home country, then this would give you a better position for your offer in Barbados. Next, you have competing offers. And it's so funny, there are properties that would have not had any interest, and as soon as my clients come, they put in an offer and then all of a sudden it's like multiple offers. So you have competing clients who are obviously going to put in an offer, and this is why you need to make sure that your offer is succinct, clear, and with minimal conditions as possible. Think through how your offer is being funded, finance or cash, minimal conditions, and currency. Lastly, of course, you need the right agent on your side. An experienced agent can guide you on crafting the perfect offer for a vendor to make it as attractive as possible. So if you're thinking about putting in an offer, feel free to contact me. Let's discuss, let's go through it, and try to make your offer top of mind for the vendor.